So why did you leave your previous job? So I left because the company culture was very toxic. There was a lot of politics, and my colleagues were constantly undermining me. And therefore, I just felt I could not work there anymore. I left because I had a difference of opinion with my line manager, and I just felt that I could not work with him anymore, and therefore I left. I quit because the company was so disorganized and I did not want to associate myself with the lack of their professionalism. These are all the wrong answers to this most frequently asked question in a job interview. But how do we answer this question properly? Well, watch this video till the end because I will share with you 3 don'ts and 3 do's, that is, things that you should not do and the things you should do in order to effectively answer this question. My name is Jamil Hyde, and I've been working in management positions across South Asia, Middle East, and North America for the last 20 years. And my mission is to help you build real life skills for your job and career that they don't teach you in college. So since we looked at some bad examples just now, let's start with the don'ts. What are the things that you should not do while answering this question? The first don't is don't say negative things about your previous employer. When you say things like the environment was toxic, the culture was not good, and things like that, it basically creates a very negative impression in the mind of the recruiter about yourself. Because when someone can badmouth about their previous employer like this, they can easily go and say negative things about our company later on. That's the kind of thing that will come to the recruiter's mind naturally. So while there are ways of saying things that, your culture was not a fit and those kind of things, but when you say negative things that the culture was bad and the environment was toxic and people were very, very involved in politics and those kind of things, that's a very negative language that you should try to avoid while answering this question. The second don't is don't blame others. When you say things like, I had a fight with my boss because he was doing the wrong thing and I could not work with him anymore, or my peers were jealous of me, or the team that was reporting to me was very incompetent. These are the things where you are actually putting the blame for your decision on others. Once again, it's a very negative impression that will create in the mind of the recruiter, because what does it tell the recruiter if you say that I had a conflict with my line manager and we could not work together? It tells the recruiter that you don't have any conflict management skills. And conflict management is such an important skill. I've made many videos on that. I'll put some links over here as well. Is so important in today's time and age because you have conflicts all the time. But if you say that you just left because you had a conflict or you did not like your boss, that is a very bad answer. Similarly, if you say that your colleagues were involved in politics and they were jealous of you and that's why you left, that does not tell a good story at all about your collaboration skills. How did you not work with them to resolve those conflicts, or why did you not have open dialogues with them? Similarly, if you say that you left because the team that was given to you was incompetent, then what did you do to make those people competent, right? Because in today's world, especially when you're applying for a managerial role, it's all about people development, people management, right? So if you say things like the team was incompetent and that's why you left, then the obvious question the recruiter will think that this person did not do anything to develop those people. And if that's the case, then probably this person is not the right fit. So try to avoid those answers. And the last don't is don't talk about money and benefits. This is not the time to talk about money in the interview. There is a time and space for that discussion. But while answering this question, try to avoid this. Because if you just say that I left because I was not being paid enough or the money wasn't good, then the recruiter might think that this person is only going after money because he has left the job just because of one factor and he has not mentioned personal development, those kind of things. So just mentioning money as the reason why you left can also create a negative impression in the mind of the recruiter. So try to avoid that. So now let's look at the do's, or the things that you should do while answering this question. The first thing you should do is to put a positive spin to the story. So So even if you left the company because you didn't like their culture, you should say things like, I left because I did not feel that the organization was the right cultural fit for me, instead of saying that the culture was very toxic and all of those kind of things. Also emphasize on the positive things that you learned on your previous job. So while you are answering the question as to why you left the previous job, you should say that you learned a lot and how it shaped your professional development, and do mention some of those points as well. The next thing you should do is to frame it as a mutual decision, especially if you were let go by your previous company because they were restructuring or your role ended for some other reason. Try to mention things like that it was a mutual decision between you and your line manager or you and your company. So although you really tried hard to make it work, but in the end it was in the best interest of you and your company that you left and you found another opportunity. And the third thing you should do while answering this question is be honest, especially if you are changing jobs because of a personal situation. You should be pretty honest about it, but this is a fine line. So being honest doesn't mean that you tell the entire story about your personal life to the recruiter. Only share the relevant information. For example, if you are relocating, or if something changed in your family which is forcing you to move, and those kind of things. So just share the bare minimum information that is required to be shared on your personal front, and try to then link it back to the rationale as to why you left the job. So now that we have looked at the do's and the don'ts, and we also looked at some bad examples at the start of this video, now it's time for us to look at some good examples as to how you can answer this question effectively. So why did you leave your previous job? Well, after several years in my previous role, I found that I was becoming too comfortable, and I believe that a fresh set of challenges is essential for my professional growth. I'm excited about finding a role that pushes me to expand my capabilities. So in this example, you're demonstrating that you have a desire to get out of your comfort zone, and it's basically in the pursuit of that new challenge that you're seeking, because you feel that in your current job you are too much in your comfort zone, you're not learning anything new. So this is a good drive for you to apply for a new role, and that's a good story to tell. Unfortunately, my previous company underwent a restructuring and my role was impacted. While it was a difficult decision to leave, I am using this as an opportunity to explore new avenues and contribute my skills to a different organization. So in this way, although the story of your previous company is not great because they are restructuring, probably they are letting go of people, but you are basically demonstrating that it was a difficult decision for you to leave and you tried hard, but it was probably in the best interest of your previous company and your career that you moved on. I realized that the company culture at my previous job wasn't the best fit for me. I'm seeking a work environment that aligns more closely with my values and where I can contribute effectively to the team. So this is a good example because you are not using any negative language, although you have apparently got like cultural challenges with your other company, but you're not saying that the culture was bad or toxic, people are not good. You're just saying that it was not the right fit for you, and therefore you are seeking a new opportunity. I left my previous position due to a family relocation. I'm now settled in this area and I'm eager to bring my skills and experience to a new role. So here you are being very honest that your family is relocating and that is the reason why you are looking for a new position. I was employed on a fixed term contract for a specific project at my previous job, and the project has now concluded. I'm eager to bring my experience and skills to a new challenge. So in this case, again, you are being very upfront and honest about the situation at your previous job, and you had a fixed term. There was a project that you were hired to complete. Now that the project is completed, you are ready to move on. And that's a very, very common reason, and something that will not raise any red flags in the mind of the recruiter. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have got any questions about this video or any of the other topics that I post on my channel, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and I'll be more than happy to help you. Keep watching.